Hey y'all, what's up? Let's get to it. I need to talk to y'all about a lot of stuff. It's been a minute. Alright, so I'm backed up. I got a lot of videos I want to make. So, okay. Oh, welcome to my Hiding Seats. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you would like to. You can also support this channel that is not monetized by donating to Cash App at Cianise. That's a capital C-I-A, capital N-I-S-E. All one word. Thank you. So let's get to it. I want to talk about the Mal and Rory podcast, right? So I did several videos about the fallout between those three. Well, Mal and Rory have finally released a couple of videos of their new content, right? I seen where Rory had done an emotional oranges interview. I'm sorry, I did not click on it. I did not watch it because it just seems boring, right? It's not really my tempo, my speed. But I did watch the other two videos where I guess they was in LA with some LA dudes. They was on a couch, a young man in a chair. Another dude looked like he was sitting on, I guess, a speaker or something. I did watch that one. And then I also watched the one where them two were sitting down in the black and white chairs. One said season 1, the other one said episode 1. Cha-Cha Chicken. Oh, right, that was the one with the other guys, I think. Well, anyway, this is my take on it. The one with the black and white chairs, green background, I really love that set. That set is phenomenal. And the chairs are nice. But, it looks grown and sexy and everything. But it just looks like they just fused together the new Joe Budden network's scenery background with See the Thing Is background, right? That's what it looked like to me. Like they just fused it in with better chairs. Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. The other thing is, when them two were just sitting there doing episode 1, the vibe that I got from it was that they were trying to take like the structure of the JBP, but also fuse that with like the Opie and Anthony show, 2-man show. This is the issues that I found with it. They might still need time to find their groove, but if they call themselves going to try and do a JBP spinoff with just them two, which I know that they said that their show's supposedly going to be different, other content and stuff, but I'm talking about the podcast part with them. I don't see it going far. How it looks to me now, are B mics. They're B mics. They are not as interesting and as polarizing or have as much personality as Joe Budden. And I think the reason why Rory and Mal were able to shine on the JB podcast is because they were sitting next to Joe Budden, and their personality, tempo, and demeanor had a contrast to Joe's, right? So that's what made it all work. That's what made each of them shine individually, because we had this big personality right here, and it complemented their personalities. Them two just sitting there, I'm sorry, it just seemed very boring to me. It was like, yeah, y'all are B mics, right? When they did the one with the other guys, I don't know who those guys were. They some LA cats, I believe. It was not a good feel. First off, it looked like the one that had the dreads that was sitting inside the chair, Justice. He seemed to have been the A mic, right? It seemed like he was the A mic, and Rory and Mal were guest starring, going his show, his pod. And to me, he really didn't have much to say. The other thing is, it lacked direction. It lacked structure that it needed. That's when it showed that, like, when you look at these podcasts and they're pivoting to different subjects, topics, keeping the flow going, which normally Joe does. Y'all like to call it that he's cutting them off. Sometimes he do be cutting off to say what he want to say. But the other thing that I noticed if y'all paying attention when it was just Rory and Mal, when they did the initial speak about their split from Joe video, as well as on the episode where it was just them two on their new podcast, Rory does a lot of cutting off too, believe it or not. And that takes me to another point that I want to bring out to y'all that I'm not going to mention just yet. I'm going to say that. So that episode seemed like it lacked so much structure. They were talking in circles, repeating the same things. Mal and Rory were barely really speaking at all, and it literally just felt like, as I was sitting there watching, like, okay, come on, can we get to the next subject? Can we get along? I'm tired of hearing about what you feel the difference is between New York people and LA people or whatever. And they even kept circling around today. Like, so I didn't like that at all. Right? Then when we get to what they were speaking about on their own podcast and things that I noticed in there, it's like they following Joe Budden blueprint, like I said, trying to do a JBP 2.0, except they don't want anyone that they have to answer to. And I think that was the problem. They just did not want to have to answer to Joe Budden. They did not like the fact that here it is, their friend being in a powerful position over them, right? Or being a spearhead. And what I noticed on this one is, y'all followed that formula, but y'all called yourself tweaking it a bit of like, no, we're going to be in control ourselves, right? That was their whole premise of freedom. But this is the thing that you fail to realize. Everyone needs, any time that there's a group of people, more than one, yes, you can do partners, but you need someone to, they're different roles. Someone has to take lead, take charge. And Rory wants to be that guy. It is quite evident to me that Rory wanted to be in Joe Budden's shoes all along. Rory wants to be in control, wants to be the person in the position of power. I guess that white man said, I cannot have a black man as my boss. Let me get up out of him so I can be the boss. And other thing that I noticed is even when they was doing the promo, they were playing Mal off like he was dumb. Like even with the, what do you call it? Even with the resume thing, they were playing Mal off like he was dumb. And I know it was to be humorous and stuff like that. But I noted that. And then, as Mal sat there with just him and Rory, certain things that Rory was saying was still like he was sunning him subliminally, calling this man dumb. So I was wondering to myself, like, I wonder how long is Mal gonna let this slide with Rory basically playing you off like you dumb, and with Rory basically trying to take on the role now that Joe Budden had on the other podcast. It's him being the one in control, being the leader, being the A mic and stuff like that. Cause you have to have an A mic. Mal's under the guise of there ain't no A mic. Them two are equal up there. Rory presented it as that's what he want. I think they're going to be equal as far as in pay. I think Rory is not going to have any problem, at least right now, with the splits, right? With them doing that. But what Rory has already and is already making evident to us is, no, he's going to look at it as he's the one in power and controlling y'all podcast and where it goes. And I also wonder how Mal is going to, when is that going to click for him, how he's going to feel about that as time goes on and it continues to make itself more evident that Rory keeps making subs to your intelligence, as well as the fact that Rory wanted to just be Joe all along. He ain't had no problem with a person being in control, being the power. He had a problem with the fact it wasn't him. That's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all tell me if y'all see it that way or not. Anyway, I don't see them. They need to find a different type of formula to go for it, because I don't see them being successful with the route that they're trying to take, because it is boring. It's lacking energy. Instead of where on a JVP, their personalities shine because of that contrast of each other and sitting next to Joe. It's now like you just sitting there waiting for paint to dry, basically. But we are still in the beginning. They could be trying to still find, what they need to still find their rhythm without having Joe, such a big personality there. But as I stated, that means someone else is going to have to come to the forefront and fulfill that role. And Rory plans on it being him. Plain and simple. So they both are just B mics. That seems kind of evident They're B mics. That's why you guys were B mics. You are not A mic material as it stands. Your personalities, your energies, none of that can carry an entire podcast, which is probably why they have the time shorter right now. Because you see, a lot of different shows or whatever start off with lesser time as people begin to fall in love with certain segments or certain attributes of a show or a podcast and stuff. Then they incorporate that more because they know now that's what people like, and they will even lengthen the time. So maybe as they continue to build, figure out what it is they're going to do, it can grow from there. Because I know they keep saying, our podcast is going to be totally different. You're not going to get here what you got from JVP. Well, first off, they're going to have to try and find a whole new audience, because the fans that came to you is because they liked what they seen on JVP. They just liked it you guys as well, so they came to watch you. If you're not giving them what they found on JVP, then it needs to be something totally from out of that realm. Y'all are going to have to find something that's going to make y'all interesting, or going to make the content y'all putting out interesting. Because y'all calling yourself just doing a pod with just y'all two talking, I don't see that it's going to be interesting to anyone for too long. Which means y'all going to have to find something to draw people interest. Maybe that might be interviewing. Since y'all don't have the personality to carry on your own, then that might be bringing in stars, guests, y'all becoming an interviewer podcast or something like that. Because and then the other thing, someone had mentioned though, that they putting out new content and doing all these new things, got these new ideas. Too bad they couldn't do that under the JVP network. That's a lie. They could have done that under the JVP network. Joe Budden was open to them doing that under the JVP network. Joe Budden several times over the years has even told them about certain things they could do under the JVP network. The reason why they didn't do it is because they did not want to work for Joe Budden. Now, this is what y'all need to look at. Y'all want to say, well, Joe Budden is an asshole and all of that kind of stuff, or was even trying to hold them back. Asshole, true. Hold them back? No. Maybe hold back some of the funds, but hold them back creatively or content-wise? No. When it was presented to them to do these different things, they did not want to do it because they did not want to have to work under Joe Budden. They did not want to be on this network. They could have did this on JVP network. And so as much as y'all look at Joe as playing them and being wrong for so-called not letting them see certain contracts or certain business deals and stuff like that, they had their own end of stuff that they were doing wrong because they didn't want to see Joe win. Not off of them. Not we do other content making your network greater. So as friends, they was being some haters they damn self. And as I stated, especially Rory. Rory wanted to be in Joe Budden's shoes all along. Rory despised having to work for Joe Budden and Joe Budden being the spearheader and not him. Rory despised the fact, I'm not in the position of power. You are. Alright? The entitled, privileged narc. I've been peeped some of Rory's narcissistic tendencies, but now y'all about to see. No, he's a Joe Budden 2.0 his damn self. Remember, timestamp this. Remember, you can come back to this. Give it a year, if it would even take that long, before Maul start looking at Rory sideways. Before y'all start seeing, because now it'll be more visible. Rory won't have Joe to hide behind of Joe is the monster, the narc, right? Because since Joe was a bigger personality, we all seen him. We can see him clearly. Rory, unless you're really looking or paying attention or know what to spot, it was kind of undercover. He won't be able to hide behind that anymore, behind Joe. And watch his narcissistic asshole tendencies come to the forefront. Because I've been seeing them before and I've seen them not. Rory likes to make sly comments. He making them over there at Maul, playing Maul off like he dumb, all under, that's just a joke. What Joe say, under every joke is some true. Or when do we get serious? Go back and look at that and y'all peep. Rory is condescending towards Maul's intellect and is coming off as soft humor jokes, when no, Rory thinks he's a smarter person in the room. Rory wants to be the person in power. Rory is a narc and Rory is an asshole. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I am going to continue to watch for a bit. Like I said, they could still be trying to find a groove. Maybe what it is that they're actually trying to do. Of course, you got to lay the foundation, the groundwork for that, build for that. So we'll see where it goes. So all y'all other people, that was a personal issue between them. Yeah, it sucks. And yeah, that's messed up if Joe did this, and if they acting towards Joe like this, didn't want to grow his network by putting their other ideas and content under his umbrella and stuff like that. But that ain't got nothing to do with us. And as long as I go to the JBP podcast to pod, I'm there to pod. And I love the content being put out on there, and I love his polarizing personality. His personal business, yeah, I can comment on it, speculate on it, but I don't talk to that man. I ain't hanging out with him. He ain't did nothing to me. He's great at what he does. I'm going to continue to watch it, okay? And just like Marlon Rory, to me, does a lot of title diva bullshit, and it does not affect me in my personal life. If that ain't my homeboy, that ain't my man, nothing like that, I'm going to watch what he does if I find it interesting. And that's what we're trying to see right now. It ain't interesting to me. But y'all people who think you got to pick a side, who think you want to take this on as Joe or Rory and Maul have done something personal to you, y'all need to grow up. Y'all, like, I consider myself a fan because I listen to every drop. I don't listen to episodes, like, over and over again. And I'm not personalizing anything that go on in these people's lives. Yeah, sometimes you have asshole friends. Sometimes you have friends who ain't really your friends. Sometimes you have friends who made a mistake. They still learning to be friends sometimes. Like, it's a lot of stuff. I'm not worried about that. Y'all can watch both of them. Y'all can support both of them still. I can still watch the Joe Budden podcast because my draw and who I came for was Joe Budden. So he's still there. I'm still there. As long as he dropping, I'm going to be listening if I find it interesting and like it. And same with Marlon and Rory. So it's just that simple. Give me you guys' thoughts down in the comment. Tell me what you think about the content so far that you have seen. Do you like their podcast? Do you like the content? Do you like their personalities? Or any of that? You know, tell me what you guys are thinking and feeling from watching their new content. Like I said, I didn't watch the Emotional Oranges interview because it just looked it boring. I wasn't just interested in watching that. I'll just be honest. It's just that simple. But you guys have a good day.